Hey, perfect. So we're streaming live on YouTube as I speak, and officially we are live on this session. Good to have you all here this morning. Hey, perfect. So we're streaming live on let me mute YouTube. Good. So it's such an early morning, but I'm loving that everyone is here. Garros, I see you joining from Jos Plateau State. I see your work on Instagram. You're doing a great stuff there. Well done. Keep it up, please. Judith joining from Lagos. My boss, joining from the UK, and she's still in bed. Of course, it's so early. I see you, everyone on this call. Thank you for joining on time. Feintola is joining from Abuja. Dorothy, Mrs. O is joining from Abuja. Boss says joining from Abuja. Of course, my co-facilitator is in Abuja. Welcome, everyone. It's going to be a beautiful day today. Hawa Huru Al-Kashim is joining from Abuja. For the sake of our people who are on YouTube, I know we're not using a third-party software where you could have, posted your comments. Usually on YouTube, people are not able to write their comments because we're not using a third-party software. So for our YouTube followers or participants, I'm going to repeat this a couple of times throughout the program today. I would advise you send your questions or your comments or your feedback as the session is going on live to the number 0807 361 0884 via WhatsApp. That way we can attend to you on the go. This session is being streamed live on YouTube as it is live on Zoom, and participants on YouTube would have to send their feedback, questions, and comments via WhatsApp to 0807 361 0884. Then I can be told, and then I can attend to those conversations on the go. This session would end at exactly 9 a.m. Whatever we're doing at 9 a.m., we're going to stop. We try to be very punctual with our sessions, and that's why I'm happy that many of you have joined on time. My name is Sam Obafemi. I'm called the Octopus. I am very happy this morning to have been joined by my co-host, Nkechi, whom I'm going to bring on very shortly to share about the subject matter. This morning's conversation is primarily directed at foodpreneurs and people who sell food. However, it is not limited to people who sell food. We're going to be discussing 5 secrets about food business that you should pay attention to. But again, everyone doing business can definitely take something away today. So, as you're here with us today, please, you are welcome to learn as much as you can and share as much as you can. Everyone should please make sure their microphone is muted. That's going to help us. Madam Joy, kindly mute your microphone. Thank you. Everyone should kindly make sure their microphones are kept muted so that we can minimize the noise even on YouTube. Madam Joy, kindly mute your microphone. Thank you. Okay, so let me see the rest that have joined us. Aisha Atta is in the FCT. Julie is actually the first person that joined this morning. Julie Onyekaba. She's in Abuja. She was the first person who joined the session this morning, and thank you for that. And then I have Bukola Olatiwo on the call. Okay, so let me not assume that everybody is doing food business here. Let me not assume. I'm supposed to. So tell me what business you're doing. Let me now assume everybody's doing food business. If you're doing food business, you are the owners of this session. You are the landlords. So if you are doing food business, just write landlord. But if you're not doing food business, write the name of the business you're doing. Hi, Shane. Thank you. I see you. Ola is into health and wellness. Julie's landlord. Hey, see the landlords there, they show themselves. That's so correct. Fantastic. Good, good. Ola said a tenant. I'm just seeing that, but that's fantastic. Okay, good, 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 good. Tenant, supply chain, Anwuli, good to see you. Kezia says potential landlord. Naso, good one, good one, good one. Any other person? Aisha says incoming landlord. Correct. Oh yeah, now. Any other person? Good to have you all on this call. Yes, so Hawa says landlord. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not aware there are gentlemen in the room though. So, okay. So, let's go straight up into the session. I would like to bring Nkechi first because I want her to share from her perspective. Let me introduce Nkechi based on my relationship with her. Once again, if you're on YouTube, please post your questions, comments, and feedback to 0807-361-0884 +234 if you're outside Nigeria, as this session is ongoing, and I would attend to that immediately. Maybe in our next episode, we'll use a third-party software so that you can have your comments live on YouTube. But for now, let us have your comments via WhatsApp, and then I can attend to that on the go. So, Nkechi is, in my opinion, the biggest critic of food business on the capital. That's my opinion. Nkechi is very interested in hospitality business. She's carried this passion since I knew her more than 10 years ago. She's been very consistent with studying hospitality brands and businesses. Nkechi has been so devoted. She spends a lot of money going to food businesses and ensuring that she gives them hands-on feedback. Many food brands, and I mean top food brands, hire Nkechi's services for her to review their business, review their processes, review their food. She eats a lot of food. She's a foodie. By virtue of what she does, of course, she's going to eat a lot of food. But that's not even the point. The point is she's constantly reviewing the food, the customer service, the process, the taste, the ambience, the finishing, the communication. She's such a very experienced person when it comes to this. She's done this for more than 10 years. And I'm sure you know someone who has done something for more than 10 years has information right at the top of the tips of their fingers. So this is who Nkechi is. And there is no way I would have held this conversation about food without bringing Nkechi to the conversation. It's not possible. So, Stella, I'm seeing your messages is distracting me. I may have to take that person out. So we have someone who is sending messages to everyone. I can't find that person on the list, but I may have to take that person out. I think it's a hack. So, but the person is not on this call. Okay, so let me continue. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me Nkechi Anedobe, the chief reviewer of Nkechi's Reviews. Nkechi, are you here? Let's roll. I like that smile, you know? Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
After that kind of introduction, I'm like, what is he talking about? Oh no.
I'm good. You look so good, girl. Nice hair.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know,
Awesome.
when Circa has an event, you have to turn up early, whether you are facilitator or participant, you have to turn up early because you will miss from the beginning. And then
Thank
as the person
you.
who's talking, I don't want you to come to the back and warn my life. The people who can warn me are many here. So meanwhile, Julie Onyekaba is my senior. She's part of the exco for my alumni. I'm really glad that
Ah,
she's here. I'm glad that she responded. Auntie Julie, thank you for honoring this
good to
invitation.
have you, Auntie Julie. She's the first to join. She came in before I even put on
Yay!
Zoom, and I love
No
that.
slogan.
Fantastic. You have the floor, girl.
So, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Let me just do this. 1 second. So please let me know once you can see my screen.
Okay, it's loading. Yes, we can see it now. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Good morning. Okay. So how long do I have for this?
You have up to 1 hour to roll.
Oh, that's
You can take the
interesting.
whole 2 hours self. You'll be my organ for this matter.
I actually work for a shorter time, but that's good. It's good to know that
It's
we have
okay.
a longer time than that.
It's okay.
So good morning again, everyone.
It should be okay to put your slide on slideshow. So it's going
Yes,
to
that's
be
what I
blue.
want to do.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So is it bolder now?
Yes, it is now.
Okay, perfect. Good morning again, everyone, and welcome to this session. Welcome to Sam's 5 Secrets. In starting the conversation, Sam did say that what is going to be shared today is not just about food, right? It's about food businesses. So I'm going to be speaking primarily to food businesses, but if you've attended any BSG, SUBCA, or now CERCA programs in the past, you will know that the information that you're going to get from any session like this is something that's going to affect you or be relevant and useful to you in a myriad of ways. So the first thing I'm going to say is, if you do not have something to write with, please go or send someone to bring a paper, and not a paper, please, we don't get books in Seca Africa. Please get a book and a pen, or use your phone to take notes. It's going to be an interesting 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. So I'm here to talk about the recipe for success, improving your food or indeed any business. Generally, is a business. How do we improve? But my focus is on food and businesses in the hospitality industry. So my name is Nkechi Anidobe, like Sam said, and under my name on the slide, you see CRNR. So what I'm going to ask is, just type in the chat box what you think CRNR means. And the first person to write it, to guess it correctly in the chat box, who is not a CERCA Africa staff or friend of the family, will get a gift from me at the end of this session. So just go ahead and write. We have CERCA people on the call and they will note that. So let's get into the meat of the matter. So like I said earlier, get a pen and a paper. And what we're here to do today is largely going to fall into 3 large blocks. So on your paper, in your book, write down start, stop, and continue. When we go through our slides, we're going to be looking at a number of things. And then the judgment is for you to do. Of the things that we are going to write out, that we're going to speak on, which are the ones that I need to start in my business because of what my business is meant to achieve, where my business is trying to go to, what my brand promise to my clients, to my customers, to my consumers is, then what do I need to stop? So while we have a number of things that we're going to share, you have to then look at it and ask yourself, even if these are the things that are advised or that we have discussed, in my own peculiarity, in my own niche, will this work? If I'm already doing it and it is not working, maybe I need to put a hard stop to it. Maybe I should think about stopping it. So whether you're stopping it now or whether you're thinking that it might not be working, write it out in your stop paragraph or in your stop box. Then the next thing is, what do I need to continue? So there are things that maybe from customer feedback, from your revenue, from your profits, or even from your intuition, because we all have a gift of intuition. If we deliberately build it, it serves us well. It has served soldiers in the heat of battle. It has served children and families in danger. So your intuition is a strong thing as well. It's a strong skill when you grow it. So ask yourself as we go through all of this, what is working? What has served my business and has the potential to continue to serve my business? And you note it in your continue box. And remember that after we're done with all of this, you don't trash this. You still look at your business, because what we're going to share is not exhaustive. It doesn't cover everything under the sun. So you then go back and look at the things that you are doing based on what we have shared today and say, what hasn't been covered? How does it fit into these 3 boxes? Is there something that I need to, like I said earlier, start to improve my business, either by improving my revenue, my profit, or by decreasing my cost? What do I need to stop? What do I need to continue? So those are your 3 boxes. And if you have written it out, let's continue. I can't go to the chat, so I'm trusting that you would have written it out. So this is the first thing we're going to be looking at, identifying problem areas. So remember, start, stop, continue. When we start out in business, most people do a market research either before they start out or just when they have started to say, this thing that I want to do, this apparel that I want to sell, this transport business that I want to do within the hospitality chain, within the food chain. Where exactly do I want to situate it? Where exactly is there a gap for this business? And what are the opportunities for growth, for business development of my business to thrive? So a lot of us do that at the beginning. However, a market research is a tool that you have to continuously do. And if you have listened to indeed any business talk, if you follow a business strategist on Instagram, if you attend programs like this, you will see that a lot of business strategists will tell you, you need to do your research regularly, sometimes as often as, every quarter, especially in a business in a business environment like Nigeria that has been described as VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, basically meaning that something can change every single minute. Think about the fact that we have a new government in place. Even just the fact that there was a stoppage in a lot of things the central bank was doing means that there has been an impact on your business. So there are things that will affect your business beyond just legislation. So you have to also ask yourself, what are the things that are happening that will affect my customers' preferences? What are the things that are affecting the way my customers can purchase? And then identify the gaps. Are there gaps that have been created that mean that you can scale down your business? So remember when COVID started, when COVID hit Nigeria, and we had the first lockdown, businesses were asked, you know what, stay home, schools stayed home, offices either shut down or reduced their physical interaction to the barest minimum. A number of big hotels pivoted really fast. And that was because they realized that because their primary offering was food, relaxation, right? But because the world had shut down, there were needs that had come up that the businesses who previously offered those services could no longer do that. I think Echo in Abuja, Echo Hotel in Lagos was the first, and I think eventually hotels like Transcorp pivoted to do that. What they started doing was they started delivering food. Who in the past 30 years would have thought that an Echo Hotel would start delivering food, or would even take their their laundry services global? They took it out to the world. They had no shame about advertising it, and that was because the research showed that customers still needed some of these things, but could no longer come to them. So you have to always continue that research to help you identify where you need to play, where you need to change your strategy. Then you need to create a customer feedback system, and I'll speak more to this on subsequent slides. The other thing we need to do is assess and optimize your menu. So I need to ask, who here has gone into a restaurant and you received a menu that has like 100 items, and then you ask for the first item and they tell you, it finished yesterday. You ask for another item and they tell you the manager went to buy it. I've been to a restaurant in Abuja, a cafe rather, and cafes in Abuja are typically breakfast type places. I think I went to a cafe with a colleague a couple of weeks ago, and the first thing they told us was, it was around 9:30, because we went to the office, we had reported, and we said, let's have a breakfast meeting. And the first thing they told us was that they don't have bread. And I'm wondering, do you know what your business is? I mean, if you are a breakfast cafe, I'm telling you, Sam, they said they don't have bread. And I was like, okay, if you don't have bread, I have never gone to the Akara woman in Wuse Market and she does not have Akara. So you have to optimize your menu. We have to ask yourself, what are the things that are my basic items? The things that if I am called 10 times out of 10, I will have. Iya Oyo can run out of beans. She can run out of anything else. She does not run out of amala before the end of her business day. So you have to ask yourself, what are those items that you need to have? And in optimizing your menu, what it also does is it helps you reduce wastage. So if you have a menu that has too many variants, you're going to be buying items in amounts that maybe cannot be aggregated. But if you stick to a menu that works for your brand and that is the shorter the better, what it means is that if, for instance, you have 3 rice-based items on your menu, you are buying the same rice. Whether it is special rice, it is Chinese rice, it is Nigerian jollof, it is Ghanaian jollof, you have 4 or 5 items that have the same base ingredients. So that helps you with 1, your stocking. It helps you with 2, your storage, because you're not thinking of, okay, I have to have 10 heads of lettuce for 2 bowls of rice and your fresh produce are going bad. So you have to think about how you can optimize that. It helps you, 1, like I said, reduce your storage, optimize your storage and reduce your costs. And it satisfies me, the customer, because I know that if I come to you, 90% of the time, 90% of your items are available. Then what you also need to work on is your pricing strategy. And this is not something that is easy to do for most people. But then you have brands like a Central Africa, you have other smaller brands. So you need to speak to an expert to say, how do I do this? And I know, because I have worked with a lot of businesses, that down to how many slices of bread you need to use to make a sandwich, how much you need to cut off the edges, down to that can be factored into your pricing. So work with brands, work with consultants that can help you do that. Remember that you are in business to make money, and you make money either by increasing your profits or by reducing your costs or by doing the 2. So what's the point in having all of this available to you and not taking advantage of it? So the last item on this slide is something that I know that everybody in Nigeria in particular, because this is where I play, and in Abuja, places like Abuja and Port Harcourt and Lagos have suffered a great deal. So I'm sure you've had AMAC issues.
No, on a steady. Stella is their customer.
It is so annoying. You go to sleep and you wake up and there's, God forgive me, someone that looks like an urchin at your door with 1 slip of paper. And if you're not careful, you're duplicating your costs. Heavily. Yes. They will come, FIRS will come, false FIRS will come, false this will come. But in the midst of all of that, you have relevant legislation that you must be aware of. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So you have to ask yourself, where I am, what are the legislations that matter? Around payment of your tenement tax, your other taxes, VAT, withholding, your waste management tax. You have things around increasingly health inspection. I was following, I think, Chef Nneka on Instagram the other day, and she spoke about how I think it's the Department of Health or something came to check their, how they are aligning with or abiding by health requirements. So you have to know what works in your business, and you have to, and that's at the beginning. So don't get up and say, okay, I'm going to, I have started, I will follow up. If you are playing where NAFDAC requires that you register prior to, find out. Some of these things are things that if you do a thorough search on Google, you will know. Other things you will need to ask around. Then something else that's very important and is similar to legislation is culture. So imagine that I get up today and I go to Kano and I decide that the first thing business I want to open in the openness of Kano people is a pork industry, is a pork business. If you hear tomorrow, Sam, that I was stoned to death like Stephen in the Bible because I was selling pork in Kano, who will you blame?
Inside my heart, I will say, it serves you right, even though I will be afraid to say it with my mouth.
Exactly. So, and there are things that are not as glaring. There are things that are smaller. So you want to go and open, you're looking to open a business in an office, a corporate office. And one of the things on the menu that you're presenting to them in your proposal is cocktails or beer. Or many, you are out of the game. So think about legislation in those terms. What are the things that the government has set? What are the things that are spoken or unspoken in culture? What are the things that are peculiar to the business, the locality, or the business that I want to interact with, right? That is, so identify all of those. These are the things that are both external to you and are internal to you. What are the things that are likely to give me problems? That is why they are problem areas. What are the things that are likely to give me problems if I do not, in most cases, anticipate? So the bottom line for this slide is to be proactive. So go back to your book and ask yourself, on these things, what are the things that I am doing well, so I should continue? What are the things that I have not thought about? Let me start. What are the things that I am doing, but I might not be working for me because I'm not doing them the right way, and then put them in your stop box. So I was going to say that I don't know how we're going to play this. Sam, would you prefer that we do questions at the end? The slides aren't many. They're, I think, 10, 11 slides, and they're not wordy. So do we do questions at the end?
It's all up to you. Anyhow you want to run this, go.
Okay. So if you have any questions, you can type them in the comment box, and Stella will please follow up, let me know, or you just raise your hand. And if it's something that is burning, if you can wait till the end so that you see if what you're about to ask is answered in our story, then let's you wait to the end. But if it's something that you think that if you don't ask me at that point, that Abuja will scatter or government will go or your business will crash, if you don't ask me at that point, it will not work, then please just unmute and let's take your question. So those are the three scenarios that we have for responding to your questions. So this is me. This is not this person. I'm not this slim yet. I'm working on it. But this is where I play customer feedback. Everyone here has heard customer is king. Whether you are the person who sweeps the road, whether you're the person who wants to be president after Tinubu, whether you're the person who runs a small akara business, whether you're the head hunter for Transcorp, everyone knows that customer is king. And while this is something that is very heavily reiterated in hospitality, it plays in every business. If you do not think that your customer is king, please just shut down, just leave us and go. After all, we did not charge you for this training. Just pack your load and go. Because I don't know who you're doing business for. It's not for your brother, sister, husband, girlfriend, wife, children. It is for your customer. So customer is king. And how do you treat your customer as king? You dobale, you prostrate, you kneel down. What that also means is that you create the environment for the customer to feel like he or she matters. And one of the easiest ways to get that, so a lot of people who are here because of Subcar, people who have done things around behavioral therapy. But think about you in a relationship, whether it is an intimate relationship, whether it is a work relationship, whether it is you being stopped by the policeman on the road or the last man in Lagos, or you being stopped by Mopol in the days when Mopol were just a pain in the Nigerian behind. The minute that the person allows you to speak, you feel some sense of worth. You feel like, okay, there is hope. But even if all the person is doing, even when somebody is fighting for you and they don't allow you to speak, you will forever feel cheated. That's all customer feedback is about. Letting the customer who is coming to you to give you their money without a gun to their head, letting them speak. A common mistake that we make is, I've had people say that, but my people don't give me feedback. My customers don't talk to me. They don't tell me if something is wrong. First of all, let me establish something that all feedback, whether we call it positive or negative, is good. So if you say that you are not getting feedback, there's something wrong. It's one of two things. Either your business is so distant from the customers that you don't know when they're speaking, or the person who is in charge of getting that feedback or whom the feedback goes to is just packing it as unimportant. And both are extremely dangerous situations to be in. Like I said earlier, there is no time that you don't get feedback. My mom used to run a restaurant way back in Jos. And I remember that even my dad, when he came back from work and he was going to pick us from the restaurant at the end of the day to go home, he would walk through the customers and ask, so how are you? Baba said, how are you? How is this person? My mom would come in from the kitchen and ask them how things were. That was one of the best ways of feedback. And it still happens in what are called mom and pop restaurants or businesses. The smaller the business, the easier it is for the owner to walk around. Just saying, Sam, how now? You're here today. So how is the amala today?
Yeah.
You think the person is just having conversations.
Yeah.
The smaller business owners, a lot of them were much more savvy than we who are feeling very educated and tush. Because the person instantly tells you, exactly. I remember once when we had made this egusi. My mom is a wonderful cook, by the way. She had made this egusi soup in the restaurant. And I think what happened was we had changed, there's this particular leaf my mom had decided to use that day. It's a pumpkin leaf, one pumpkin leaf that is very furry. But that leaf is inherently sweet. So it works better for, what's it called? It works better for yam pottage, for that yam and leaf thing that we Igbos do. So when you put it it was first time we were trying it in egusi soup. If you do that in egusi soup, we then realize that you have to up other things like the crayfish and the pepper from what you normally would use, because it made the soup sweet. So somebody looked at my mother, an Igbo woman of joy and pride, and told her that she put sugar in her egusi soup.
Oh, wow.
My mom was, I'm not joking, till today. So that restaurant probably folded I think I was still in secondary school. That is a memory that is in my head. And I think it's things like that that moved me into doing reviews. So if my mom had decided that, okay, I don't use egusi soup, I don't use sugar in my egusi soup, that guy is lying. What would have happened was that that guy would have gone out and told people that this woman has put sugar in egusi soup, and when he told her she did this, she did that, which is what a lot of us do now. So you have a social media handler who first of all, doesn't respond when people are chatting on your post and just goes and likes comments because in his mind, he is a bot. He just goes and likes comments. What that person has done is he or she has given feedback to the customers who have dropped comments that their comments are unimportant. Then you have those that somebody will say a good comment and they will go and say something as feeling as that's how we roll. That's how you roll, Abby. Okay.
Let me tell
then
you.
You have
this thing
go ahead.
Said, this thing happened to us yesterday as a team. We went to a client who called me while I was in Lebanon and was hounding me for a meeting. And then we went there yesterday, me and my best team. I went with Tunde, like, let's go and deal with this issue. And getting there, did our reviews, gave this customer feedback, and guess what the customer said? Well,
Well,
if that's the situation, I'm not sure the people that we complain about that they are not my customer. Like, I'm not, she categorically said, there is nothing I want to do about that. That was her answer.
I hope she shall pay for consultation.
So I feel you. Please go on, Jerry.
It is so annoying. And you know what that person has done is, so what she did was she treated you as the consultants, forgetting that even for your consultants are your first customers if your business is done right.
Yeah.
So one, she has shown that she's not serious as a client, and she has shown that even if you will do what you typically do, which is I have consulting for this client and I now trust this business so I can recommend this business, she has also closed that door. And we don't think about such things. I remember, I think was it last year? No, yeah, 2 years ago. I reviewed one of these very popular places in Abuja, and I posted my review. And thank God that I don't, I don't go and start lobbying for anything. I just go pay my food and go and do my review. And the person sent me a stinker. Sent me a long worded thing warning me, telling me that Abuja is small, I cannot make enemies in Abuja, everybody knows me, that I lied. So I had to ask him, I said, please indicate to me where the lie in my story was. And he said that, so let me explain what happened. So I go into this place 3 different occasions, and they sit us in one of their rooms, which is one of the parts of the restaurant that is beautiful on the outside, you know, white walls, white tiles, like something from a Puff Daddy skit. So everything is looking very nice. And then we sit down, and I realized that when I was walking in, that I had left footprints, but it wasn't the rainy season. And when we were walking in, they were not mopping. It was a big building, one of the biggest, a big building in the heart of Central Business District, Abuja. Then I realized that there was water coming out from the tiles. So I called, this is inside the restaurant, not outside, inside the restaurant. So I called attention to the manager, and he said, okay, that he thinks maybe somebody poured water. I said, no, it is coming from the ground. He says, no. I said, I'm like, fine. So he called someone, they mop it up. And as the person is leaving, the water comes back out. So that shall happens. The second day, we sit somewhere else. And you know, it's just a very tidy, very untidy relationship, untidy experience. So I put that in my review. And I also put the fact that there's a part of that building, it's owned by the restaurant that is in that entire building, but there are other businesses that are there. There's a part of that building that the walls are decaying. So you will, as you're passing, you're seeing mold on the walls. And because of that, and you know how white can just disgrace you.
White
so
will
you will
stain
see
your
the
white.
mold. White will stain your white. You will see the mold. So the funny thing was, I did a video, but I didn't post the video. I just spoke about the things. So he now said, that the things that I spoke about, that it was a lie. I said, but there was water coming out of your floor. He said, no, that must have been when I went there when they were closed and they were doing renovation. I said, Oga, the day we went there, the second day we went there, which is when this thing happened, there was a birthday party. This is where the party was seated, and your manager had us sit there first, and eventually moved us out of that place because the birthday party people had more than they had planned for in the crowd. So do you still think I'm lying? And I told him the date, told him the time, which is why it's good to take notes. I told him the date, told him the time. He now said, oh, that okay, but that I shouldn't have said what I said, that blah, 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 blah. Then I asked him, I said, I know you. You travel at least 3 or 4 times every year. I said, when you go outside this country, where are the places that you stay? I said, do you read reviews? Do you use TripAdvisor? Do you use all those, whatever, Zivago and all of that? He said, yes. And I said, so in all your bougie, whatever, you don't think Nigerians deserve to have the same kind of thing that you have? That's how it ended. So this is one of those people who will not take feedback. It was a perfect opportunity to do what other brands have done. So the reason I'm saying this is when someone posts a positive feedback on your brand online, go and acknowledge it.
Yes.
Say thank you. This is part of our brand promise without doing that's how we roll, feeling all like a slay queen or a baby boy. But more importantly, when someone posts a negative review, have your social media handler track wherever your brand is mentioned and go and say as simple as, we are sorry about your negative experience and we will contact you to know how we can improve. What that does is it sends a message to, not even to the person who posted it, to everybody who will read that in perpetuity, that this is a brand that cares about growth. There's something that Sam taught me a long time ago. I can see Othman is here, the king of the north, the king in the north. There's something that Sam taught us a long time ago, and that is the lifetime value of every customer. So think of the lifetime value of every negative feedback and every positive feedback. And while you cannot go chasing, I mean, we are not what are those little animals like baby goats that will be jumping on walls, chasing everything that they see. You can't chase everything, but you have to know what to chase. So imagine that someone is going to see that review that I posted and see the comments of your social media handler. In the next 5 years, as long as Instagram is available, that comment is there. What you said when you went and said you must be a liar, because I have seen businesses respond like that. You must be a liar. What you said is there in perpetuity.
Jem, you see this liar part?
Go ahead.
This liar thing you said, I had an experience. So after summit last year, 2022 summit, one of the participants runs a hotel and had talked about it. And I was like, oh, I'll check it out. So I decided to go and stay over at this, because I like to more like patronize people that come to our events and, are in our community. So, this guy, okay, let me support this person. I went to this person's hotel to spend 2 nights. And in the room where I was, it was tiny, it was inconvenient, and then there wasn't a bin and other things. So I shared this feedback, and the person says, it's because you went to the smallest of our rooms. That's why you did. And I'm like, really? Are you kidding me right now? So I'm being punished for using the smallest of your rooms. Okay, I said, no problem. No, I understand. Thank you. So I understand.
You gave me a room. You gave me a room. And that's the thing. We keep saying some things we see as luxuries. I came to your hotel, you gave me a room, even if it was under the staircase. And thank you for raising that. There are bare necessities. There are basic foundational items for every single business. How can you have a hotel room that does not have a bin? So what am I supposed to put my trash in? I should put it in my backpack and carry it to, and that kind of thing. I will just put every trash at the door. Then I will take a picture and I will post it. And so it is, like you said, it's how we relate to things. So imagine that they had told you, I'm really sorry, we'll look into that. And I know you, the first thing is you call people and tell people, this hotel, they're very responsive. Even if they don't go and put that bin, you will say that. Because one, your self-worth as a customer has been validated. And that is what the business is all about. Customer, I'm going to end this slide with, customer is king, king, king. Put in place a deliberate customer feedback eliciting system and work on it. I can die on this slide, but let's move to the next one.
Thank you. There are questions waiting for you.
Okay, so do we take those now, or should I just finish with this slide?
Okay, well, no, it depends on you. Which do you want?
Okay, let me go back to the previous. So let's okay, so let me take the slide. Let me take the questions. I can't see them, so someone might need to read them out.
I will read them myself, don't worry.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, let's take some now.
Oh, okay, cool. So there's the first question is from Omotola. She says, government taxes are not harmonized and often duplicated. How do SMEs keep up with this? That's the first question. Do you want to take note of these questions, or I should wait till you answer it?
Okay, the same thing I asked everybody to do, I didn't do. Let me write this in my here. So
okay, so
government tax.
Yes.
Okay.
let's just say multiple taxes. How do MSMEs cope with multiple taxes? This is a very important question, honestly. Another question, I'm hoping I don't skip any questions. Please, ladies and gentlemen, in case I skip your question, it's not intentional, just repost it and I will definitely read it. So let me scroll and find the other question I saw. Someone says, in light of the recent removal of subsidy on oil, how do we impute this into our pricing? So how can prices be adapted with the removal of subsidy on oil? And then let me scroll. Hopefully, I think I saw 3 questions. So someone is asking, would there be a recorded version? I've replied in the chat room, but let me reply this now.
Okay.
This session is being live streamed on YouTube. So we won't be recording such sessions on Zoom anymore. There's no need. It's on YouTube. Just the link is in the chat room. Just go on YouTube/Samuel B. Obafemi NG, and then you will find all the replays of even previous sessions. They are live on YouTube. So please, we don't have to record it. The third question for you, Jem, how do you make sure customer feedback gets back to you directly, not hidden by your employees? Fantastic question. How do you make sure customer feedback gets back to you directly, not hidden by your employees? Let me see if there's any other question in the room. Okay, so I think we've called out all the questions. If you have more questions, ladies and gentlemen, please post it. We're going to read them out. If you're on YouTube, please send your questions via WhatsApp to 08073610884 +234 if you're outside Nigeria. We're going to attend to that. We're using live stream from Zoom, and it does not allow for us to enable comments on YouTube. That is why you have to comment on YouTube. So it's not intentional that we locked the comment section, but please send your messages via WhatsApp to that number +234 8073610884, and then we'll read it and attend to that. So thank you. Nkechi, you can continue.
You see why I said there's always something to learn. I didn't realize that if you're streaming directly to YouTube from Zoom, you can't comment on YouTube. So
it's been very difficult. We don't know why they did it that way. I'm hoping they can review that.
But that's why for now, at least we know that. So that's why somebody kept typing something about.
People use there's this third-party software. What's the name again? Because of that, people that hold conferences, StreamYard. People use StreamYard.
Oh, StreamYard, and StreamYard is good
because of that purpose, but maybe we'll consider StreamYard. It's just that it's not compatible with Safari browser. So maybe we'll just find a way to use Chrome.
Okay, to use
but that will be for subsequent editions. Let's continue. Thank you, Kizito.
So we have 3 questions. I'll start with the one that plays directly in my niche, which is how do you make sure that customer feedback gets back to you directly and is not hidden by your employees? So one of the oldest and easiest ways is to have a suggestion box. That's one of the shortest and easiest ways.
Mute your microphone, thank you.
So that's one of the shortest, easiest, and cheapest ways to have a suggestion box and factor in to let people know that they can drop it there, right? The challenge with that is how do you ensure that your your employees then give people the suggestion slips for them to place, right? And one of the ways you can do that is to have that tied to, so when you're doing your employees' objectives, which is what they're meant to achieve, you have that feedback tied to a person's scorecard. If you have a manager, it is his or her business to get customer feedback. So you do your task and target in such a way that that person knows that you have to get a percentage of your customers daily or monthly or weekly must give feedback. If you tie that, believe me, that's one of the simplest ways you can do that. But there's something that is implicit, or there's an underlying thing with why employees do not encourage or do not get feedback to you. Sometimes it is the culture that has been created.
Mm.
I'm going to use SOBCA. So SECA is still just growing. SECA Africa isn't known yet. I'm going to use SOBCA, right?
Yes.
I know that the intern in SOBCA can tell the CEO, the COO as well, that this is what this person said about our brand.
Yes.
This person said we responded late. This person said we were lazy. The reason a person can do that is because there is a team and organizational culture that makes it okay for a team member to fail, where that failure is a mistake and not a deliberate act of sabotage or foolish negligence. So I'm going to try and repeat that. That kind of culture that enables employees to give feedback to the owner, whether feedback is good or bad, is only possible where there is a culture that has been created that enables team members to fail, where that failure or where that failing rather is out of a mistake or a lack of competence and not out of deliberate sabotage or foolish negligence.
Mm.
If you create, so think about it as parents, as siblings, as people in relationships. If your child cannot come and say to you certain things, and I'm using myself as an example because I have teenagers now, and I had to get to the point where I realized that, well, while my children are very respectful, there's certain things they will not readily come and tell me because they might be thinking the first thing is, I'm in trouble, but mom is going to harass me first. So maybe instead of having the harassment on both sides, let me just go and face my battles. Maybe mommy will not hear, maybe daddy will not hear. If you create that kind of environment in your office, in your business, you will not be told. So while you're looking for the solution, you might be treating the symptom rather than the underlying issue, which is that there is a cultural issue that does not allow them to speak. Other ways you can do that is for, so you can have people send you things via WhatsApp. You can give your clients your business WhatsApp, right?
I give them my email.
Tell them, okay, cool. So email works for you. You can sit on your email. Some of us don't roll like that. Please don't harass us. Some of us don't roll like that. For many, some may be company. For many SMEs, what business WhatsApp is the fastest thing. And the beauty about that is that you can have business WhatsApp depending on what gadgets you're using. You can have your WhatsApp open on more than one device. So while your manager is using one, you have is using your WhatsApp on his phone. You have that number, that business number, WhatsApp open on your own gadget. So you can easily see the responses. The other thing you can do is to create for businesses that have a little more structure, and even for some smaller businesses, is to just create a barcode and put on your wall. And as people, a large barcode, as large as, let me turn, as this, maybe like something this big, and just put it on your wall and tell people, please scan this to leave feedback. Some people who can scan will scan, and it is one question first. So you can just have a form at the back of that barcode that has one question and one suggestion line. Were you satisfied today? It is a yes or a no. And if the person says yes, the next thing is how else can we improve? If the person says no, the response is sorry about that. Please drop your number so we can get back to you to help make this better. Doing that does you two things. One, it tells the customer that you care, right? While you are getting the feedback directly. The second thing is, as Sam has taught me, Sam is a cook. It gives you a way to start harvesting customers' numbers. Because the person has known that, okay, they want to call me and tell me sorry, or even tell me, okay, come and take a free meal tomorrow. They will give you that number. You now start building your database. So these are ways you can try. Let me not stay too long on this. So the other thing is, the other question was subsidy removal and pricing implications. So remove subsidy from your mind. Subsidy removal is, in its barest form, it is another inflation. In the previous years, how have you dealt with inflation? If you have a price increase or something that affects your cost in any way, whether it is a single cost item, as in the person who mans your gate has said that he no longer will take 30,000 naira, he will take 40,000 naira. Even something as seemingly individual or singular as that has a ricochet effect on everything. So treat it as that. What is the percentage inflation that has happened as a result of this? And how do I now replicate that across my business? Remember, however, that even if subsidy removal means that there is a 100% increase in the price of your base item, let's say rice, can you then do a 100% increase on everything? No. So you have to look at what are the items that probably are the highest ordered items, and how can I increase it a little? In doing that, what are the other things I can do to drive traffic in to ensure that I have even more people than before? And like I said in the previous slide, what can I do to drive my costs lower? A lot of what people typically do is, okay, we have costs have gone up. I had 10 staff, I'm firing 5. When you fire 5 and I come to your business, before I used to wait 30 minutes to get a drink. Now I'm waiting 45 minutes. I don't care that you have sacked 5 people. That's not my business.
Correct.
I came because I had a 2-hour break. I had a breakfast meeting or a lunch meeting with my friends or my colleagues, and I have to leave. You must still ensure that whenever you're decreasing cost or increasing profits, that your basic promise to your customer is not affected. It's still being kept. And remember that all of us know that things have gone more expensive.
Yes.
So we expect that you will increase cost. What it means is that we expect that while there might be slippages here and there, your basic item is not disturbed. So find out, and for this, you will have to sit down again. Small businesses do not want to pay experts. I'm sorry, that will not work. Okay. You have to find who you can sit with to look at, and this also plays with the tax issue that someone asked. Auntie Bosse, thank you. Thank you, Bosse. Kiss baby for us. So this also responds in a way to the tax issue that someone asked. For taxes and for pricing, sit with an expert. There is a thing called tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is legal. There are ways that you can avoid certain taxes, but you need the expert. Don't go and start feeling, I will deny you. Don't go and think Kichi said, I will deny you with joy. Sit with an expert. I'm sure there are experts for small businesses. There are many, you have to Google, you have to ask. Sit with an expert and find out. Do not evade your tax. You can think that you're getting away with it now. When it catches up with you, you are liable to huge amounts that can wipe your business, and you're open to imprisonment. So please speak to experts about your pricing, about your taxes. So can I move on to the next?
Fantastic. Yes, please. Well done. Great stuff. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been enjoying this till this moment, I think you should send any emoji you love to Nkechi in the chat room. Send an emoji to appreciate the depth of her sharing so far. I'm loving all that is going on right now. So beautiful. Let's do that. Awesome.
But Sam, if they're sending emojis, it does not include Stella. Stella owes me Amala from 2 years back. Please, if you're a Seka person, do not send emojis. Let's not even joke. There's an Amala place near your office.
This Amala matters today.
From BSG 3 years ago. So if you're a Seka official, do not send emoji. I know where my Amala is coming from. Please, I don't play like that. So let's move to the next item. So we've discussed problem areas and customer feedback. And remember that we started this by saying that you need to have 3 boxes to define and to place items that we discussed today. 1, what do I need to start doing out of the things that we're discussing? 2, what do I need to stop doing based on the feedback I have gotten today? And 3, what's the area that I'm a slay queen, that I'm a baby boy? What am I doing well that I can continue with? So let's move on to the next item. And this is where, I mean, if you don't have a second in your team, find somebody. Streamlining operations. I'm going to start again. Structure. So anything, so think about it. You want to build a house. And then you just get up and you, as has happened in Lagos, the home, God forgive me, Lagos people forgive me, but Lagos is the Nigerian home of falling buildings. So imagine your business, liken your business to those high-rise buildings in Lagos that fell. The basic reason that many of those businesses fell and buildings fell or collapsed is that they did not have a strong foundation, the right pillars to support the amount of blocks that they were putting on it, to support the number of people that are meant to live in that building. And I'm using this analogy because it's a different thing to build a hut, it's a different thing to build a skyscraper. What that means is that, one, the foundation, the thickness of the foundation for the hut cannot be the same as the thickness of the foundation for a skyscraper. That's basic, right? The skyscraper's thickness has to go much lower. The materials that are used have to be very deliberate so that, one, while you're not spending too much on the foundation, you're using the best possible material for now and for later. So you're factoring it into that building, things like, is it a residential building or is it an office? So what that means is how much traffic is coming into that building. Yeah. Because if it is a residential building, you know that except if they're having Owambes there every day, there's a certain number of people they're going to have. If it is a residential, if it is an office building and it is maybe something like where you have a lot of market, so think of something like a stock exchange building, you know that the traffic there is going to be mad. So you have to consider all of those things and the impact that footprint, the kind of material, the kind of machinery that are going to be coming into that building will have on the structure. You have to think of that before you then decide on the structure you're going to have. And of course, that structure, from where you're building a hut, is just you now, Okonkwo, you are going to marry somebody's daughter. Is your hut? You have been building hut, you just build it. I mean, no long story. But when you now say, I want to build a 1-bedroom self-contained, you're not an architect. Nigerians, you're not an architect. You're not a quantity surveyor. Get the experts. The same thing works with your business, especially as you transition from, it is just me selling groundnuts that my brother in Jos sends to me and I fry in my kitchen and I sell. The minute you start to transition from even as you're just a business name business, as you start to grow, as you start that business, you are looking at, within the next 2 years, I want to be here. Within the next 5 years, I want to be here. It is not you. You are not the expert. Somebody went to school, bled, suffered, had experiences, so he can advise you. So you need to have that plan and constantly review it. As I grow, is this current plan working for where I want to be? What happens is many of us get comfortable. I'm posting, I'm doing this, I'm getting this amount of money, I'm known here and there. And we also mistake Instagram fame for my business is rocking. God help you, you will fail. So you have to ask yourself, where is my current business plan vis-a-vis where I want to go? And you have to constantly review it within your team, but also with an expert. And for a lot of these things, if you go into, think of when you have a retainership with a doctor, right? It costs you less than when you're now every 6 months, you're now calling somebody new. So think about it. I mean, like I said earlier about the taxing, many businesses have an SME package. So don't fear. If you go and ask them and you find out that what they're asking you to pay is what you can't afford, you move. Yes. But do your Google, go ahead, Sam.
For members of BSG, we have our in-house tax consult. We have two in-house tax consultants. We have KOS Legal is a business in BSG that provides this MSME package. She's very considerate to MSME. And then in OSP, we have Bikers Worth, who actually handles Seka Africa's taxes. Seka Africa's from SOPCA, our tax consultancy has been handled by Bikers Worth. So members of OSP and BSG can take advantage of discounts because they are members of our community. But even if you are not a member of our community, I am aware that these people have MSME-friendly packages. It is easier for you if you're enjoying it as a community member, but you don't have to be a member of our community they will still give you an MSME package for tax consultancy. But like Nkechi has said, it is penny wise, pound foolish to think you are dodging tax. The day where the thing will catch you, it will not be funny. So please, Nkechi, continue, Jare.
And to add to what Sam said, it is not my portion, it's not a business strategy. So for Christians, all the God, Jesus, I don't know what I'm sure there's I know that the Quran is pretty descriptive, so I'm sure it is covered. But for Christians, what does the Bible say? What did Jesus say? Give to Caesar.
Caesar, what belongs to Caesar?
What is Caesar? The tax is for Caesar. Caesar is government. Tap down to your tax. Okay. So the second thing is technology. I'll just rush through this. It's technology. One of the most famous amala joints in Nigeria, in Abuja today, I don't know about today, Sha, but as at some while ago, they still were not doing POS transfers.
Yeah, until the Naira policy of MFLA.
Exactly. But guess what happened when they were not doing that? And that's why I say I spoke about conducting a market research at the beginning. That single stubbornness of I want to see my Naira is what that's added to some other issues. But that alone birthed a plethora of amala businesses in Abuja. And virtually everyone that opened after that allowed you to pay with your POS and even bank transfer. Then the other thing that happened was because they didn't do that, there's a business that opened primarily to, and they didn't deliver. If you like, be Tinubu, they're not delivering to you. There's a business that opened here in Abuja primarily to order food from them and deliver to you. So I would order amala through that business, and they still exist. I would order amala through that business. I would pay to that business. They would go and withdraw cash, go and buy that food and deliver to me, and put a little thing on top.
Wow.
So the lesson here is, like I said earlier, your market research helps you know where there is a gap, which is where these people found out and quickly keyed in. They only do that for this business, but this is still the most thriving amala business in Abuja. So they do that in order to, in addition to other things that they do. But if you don't invest in technology, you might be chasing away people. And Abuja businesses do this a lot. You have a POS, and it happened, it was a time when it was rife everywhere. You have a POS that does not work. Then you don't tell me as I'm entering. When I finish, you now tell me that, sorry, somebody can go with you to the ATM to go and withdraw money. And I'm like, they must be calling you from the village. I've left your restaurant at 9 p.m. Then I should go to the POS because on my back, it is written kidnapper material. So think of what you're doing by not investing in technology, and it saves you a lot of hassle because you can easily, and that is for everything, for points of sale, for feedback, for menu, a million things. And many of them are as simple as, like I said earlier, that barcode that helps people view your menu, helps people send you feedback, and helps people order food through your business WhatsApp business. Then we said earlier, evaluate your processes. So yes, you have to ensure that you're increasing efficiency and profitability. We've spoken a lot about this. The last thing on this slide is backward integration with local farms. So one of the ways, I know I follow quite a number of business strategies, and there's some that play primarily in the food and beverage industry. And what they do is they teach you pricing systems, pricing strategies, but even more importantly, a lot of them speak to where your sourcing is from. We have yes, we haven't done a lot in agriculture in this country. There have been some improvements in the past couple of years, and we still have a lot to go. But a lot of people can easily reduce costs or increase their freshness, increase their value proposition by working with local farmers. So I think it's in BSG or OSP. There's someone who runs a poultry, and what she does is she reached out to me once to know who my clients were. And what people like that do is they create you because you have formed a relationship with them. You know, for her, for instance, all her poultry is fed organic food. So there are no antibiotics used.
She's she insists on that organic products.
She doesn't joke. She doesn't joke at all. And there are many businesses like that. People complain that organic foods or organic produce can be more expensive. But the thing is, you don't know until you ask. Down to things like tomatoes. If you're not doing so, there's somebody who does salads, for instance, right? And you're getting up and you're going every 2 days to Wuse Market or to Utako Market. And sometimes you complain that your vegetables do not last as long. And that is why I will come to you on a Tuesday morning at 11 and you tell me that your salad bar, your entire salad menu is empty because you don't have vegetables. But 2-3 kilometers away from you, there's somebody who produces organic vegetables. And guess how I know they're organic vegetables? Because when I buy the tomatoes or the whatever I keep, because they are not produced using drugs, they do not rot as fast. So sometimes the cost, that initial seeming larger cost, helps you with storage, helps you with the life of your produce. But the other thing that it does is that increasingly there is an awareness of healthy living, there's an awareness of sustainability that is going around. So depending on where you play, if you are not a booker, depending on where you play, you have to start thinking about how do I contribute to my community, because that helps me pitch to people who these things matter to. I'll speak a little more on this when we get to some later slides. But think about it. In my backyard, what is available across my value chain that I may not have taken advantage of that can, one, either reduce my costs or maybe not directly, but through longer shelf life, or help me meet the generations, the groups of clients that these things matter to. And by doing that, I create a niche that ordinarily I would not have been able to play in. So, Sam, how many restaurants in Abuja do not have artificial flowers hanging everywhere? How many do you know that don't have artificial flowers? You can't remember, Abby? Okay, let me ask you this way. What are the trends that many restaurants are taking on now? One of them is clear. It is having a selfie wall. It is having a selfie room. It is having hanging flowers everywhere. All well and good. When your business environment is changing, you can't stay back. You can't be a Nokia and fall off. You can't be a BlackBerry, my best phone ever, and fall off because you were feeling too big to move with the trends. However, in all of that, you have to be sure that the trend that you're moving with works with your brand, works with your market, works with your ideal customer. So if, for instance, your ideal customer is a 65-year-old woman who has retired, who wants to hang out with her friends, and she is looking for a place where she can easily have tea, have coffee, have small chops, eat with her friends in a quiet and almost quiet environment, then you do the thing that Abuja businesses are doing because we want to be like Lagos. You have a business that starts out, opens around 4, cool, all well and good. And everything is going well. You're playing some Luther Vandross in the background. You're playing some Oliver the Coke because these are the music genres that work with that group. Then at 7, you just introduce Burna Boy, high volume.
Yeah.
Because in your mind, you call yourself a restaurant and lounge, but you're forgotten that you're not pitching to the 27-year-old boy from Nile University. You are pitching to the 65-year-old woman who is relaxing with her friends. So while we're adopting trends, let's be careful. There are other trends that we're looking at, trends in the way food is served, trends in the way that we address our customers. So somebody asks a question on your Instagram handle, and because you want to create a rapport, you now go into the person's DM and you're like, so hello darling, I saw your question. Yeah, so you have to ask this. That one kills me. So you have to ask yourself, what trends am I following and do they work, right? The other thing I wanted to speak to on this is you have to ensure that whatever trend that you are following converts. That is what you have to be sure about. One, it doesn't cost you a lot to do. So this thing that's on this image on this slide is from one restaurant, No Food for Lazy Man. One other trend that is happening now is that people are getting lots of plants, lots of this, lots of that, right? There are subtle things that work and there are things that do not work. So if you are doing all of this and it is not converting to more of the kind of people that you want walking through your doors, whether your online doors or your physical doors, then just ask the question, what is not working? Don't just do because BSG and Subcar have become SECA. You now take your two businesses that are unrelated and go and merge it. You will fail. And you might fail not because that strategy was wrong, but because you did not think about how it will work for you. So that's my love note on this slide. It's good to make mistakes, but while we are failing forward, let's not just be failing because we're not consulting. Asking questions will get you more than halfway through the door. Okay, so marketing strategies. We've spoken to a lot of this on other slides. Even if there's online, you have online businesses, you have offline businesses, and then you have online marketing, which is that you're using various means of reaching people online. And there's offline marketing where you're doing your flyers, you're doing your word of mouth, you're doing your walking door to door, like salesmen in the where you used to have Avon and all of that. However, after everything is said and done, for virtually every business now, you need an online presence. Online is not just Instagram, because when we say online presence, everybody will be like, I don't like Instagram. It's not just Instagram. Facebook still works for quite a number of businesses. And one of the things that I'm particular about with marketing strategies, with online marketing, is what Sam has spoken about, and I know that BSG had a course on, is creating communities out of your existing and soon-to-be customers.
Right.
Facebook. So while many of us want to run to Instagram, and right now businesses are going Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, we're doing the dance as if we have ants biting us. Look for what works for you. That's where the consulting has to come in. If Facebook lends itself better to communities, that's the truth. But if you can create communities in a million of ways, wherever you're getting, just restored power, wherever you're getting your data, your people from, you can create communities on WhatsApp, on Telegram, but create communities. Because when you create communities, it is easier to have a loyal following. It is easier to then understand from the things people say what the problem areas are. And you'll even have people, because they have seen themselves as a part of your community, who would even come and be doing tatapo for you, the webo rooms in your community. See what your competitor is doing. Because a community means that we're feeling like we're one. So think of the community this way. Nigerians, we can be here. I don't like Igbo people. I don't like Yoruba people. I don't like Hausa people. I don't like Nupe people. The instant we find ourselves in Glasgow, he's a Nigerian. That is what your community does for you. People just feel like this is our person. We can't let this person feel. Yes. So think about how to use social media to advertise, but build on that to grow communities. And growing communities means that one, you have to give something. You have to offer promotions that work. Someone once told me, I hate telling the story. Someone asked me to do a review for her. And she said that she and her friend were going to, they wanted to offer my followers something. And they were going to offer, she did small chops, she did puff-puff, that they would offer, her friend would offer one of my followers a dress that cost, I think it was 10K then. And then she can also give me a pack of small chops so I can just taste. And then I told her, I said, your small chops is 1K. I said, do you not have any idea what Instagram ads alone cost? Do you have any idea what business consultation costs? And I said, if you want to ask for a freebie, do the right thing, ask for a freebie. People will give you a freebie. So when you are pitching that you are offering your followers, I'm begging you, let's not treat people with disdain. You say, okay, you are a 5-star restaurant. So imagine if tomorrow Transcorp comes and says that, the thing that many of us do, which is that we say we want you to tag as many of your friends. So Transcorp now says, tag all your friends, tag all your friends. If you finish tagging, the person with the highest tags will give them one. They have this nice suya burger in their pastry shop. That suya burger is 3.5. So Transcorp will now make me tag 100 people and give me 3.5. So think about what you're offering, because you can offer something that will make people look at you and just say, I will say nonsense. I will say nonsense to ruin this person. You know? So do that and collaborate. Collaborate, because collaborations help you enter places that you ordinarily would not have entered. And I will say something that I said at the BSG Summit a couple of, I think barely 2 weeks ago. When you collaborate and you have access, do not abuse the access. So I collaborate and I tell you that, okay, because I know that you are a brand that is struggling, I know that I have a relationship with some of Bafemi, and where he would ordinarily have charged you 500 to sit down with people for 1 hour, I will beg him and beg him and beg him and tell you, okay, let me have a 15-minute talk with this person. And I go with you. And then he finishes talking with you. He has blown your mind. Then tomorrow, you start sending him chat every day. You've ruined your personal and your business access into the room that you have been given a foot into. So when you're collaborating with other businesses, be sure that you stay. There are guidelines. There are the rules of warfare. Stay within the rules. Yes, you know that for anybody who follows, well, if you don't know about the Gaza Strip, if you don't stay on your side of the strip, automatically you are liable to be shot. Yes. There is a line. Stay there. Let somebody be the person to invite you to the high table. You go for a wedding. You think because you bought a Ashwebi 50K, you're now the mother of the bride. They will walk you out. So that's what many of us do with our collaborations. We abuse the access that we have gotten. Okay. And this also speaks to the next slide, which is, while we're collaborating, create a network even within your industry. Recently, I've seen a lot of collaboration between restaurants. So there's a pop-up, restaurants come together. There are networks that are maybe like gender networks. You have some female networks and male networks, but you have businesses of the same type. A lot of things that people have said, and this is primarily about female businesses, that women do not like to collaborate, and that's untrue. That is really, really untrue. But you have to be sure that when you're collaborating, you are giving. You can't enter a networking business, a network with other businesses that are like yours, and you sit down in that network. So let me use an example. We have a WhatsApp group. I think it was, I can't remember what WhatsApp group it was. It wasn't the business WhatsApp group. It was a social group. But you have people that we call viewers at home, people that never spoke. If you enter a network is, by simple definition, where you work to create a net. That is the simplest definition. So you won't enter a network and sit down like the auditor, like the spy. If you network, and that networking, people get to trust you. You're told typically to build like and trust with your businesses, but you also build it in communities. Honestly. So when you get into a network, exactly, if people don't hear you talk, they don't know your vulnerabilities. And if I don't know that you are not vulnerable, I cannot trust you.
Yes.
Because I do not know what you're hiding.
You need to raise the volume on this one. You need to raise the volume, because people join groups and they are ghosts. And yet later they post flyers and everybody just ignores the flyer. They're saying, hey, nobody's reacting to my own, but you're an invisible human being in the group. Exactly. You are just there. Everybody's looking at you, and people think they don't notice. You say what you're there is a leech. I'm sorry to use that term, but you are a leech. You're a parasite in that group. You just come, sit down. As people are sharing their ideas, you're the person who is taking notes. You're the person who is saving WhatsApp chats to your email, but you're not contributing. One of my favorites, if you ask my children who my favorite superheroes are, they will tell you, well, my favorite actors and superheroes, they will tell you 3. Batman, because I like his car. John Wick, let's not go there. But then the Wolverine. They don't know why I like the Wolverine. I don't follow X-Men. I don't. So all of you who watch, my generation that watch X-Men from Rebirth, I don't do that. But I watched Wolverine once. I watched one that, I think it was Wolverine was the first one that I watched in the X-Men series. And why do I like the Wolverine?
That's one of the fiercest, forget that the guy is a dude. He's one of the fiercest looking mutants when he has his claws out. But he's also one of the most vulnerable people when his claws are not out. That is what you have to put forward in a business. You have the part of you that is private, that you will not show anybody who's not in your inner circle. But it's not your private self that is there. It is your business. So when people are saying that I don't know what to do, the other day my rider went and poured food, you will say that's what happened to you, or really it didn't happen to me, but maybe that's because of this. But you must talk. You're not the Holy Ghost. You must enter that place and you will talk. Otherwise, if you're in a group that has certain types of admin, like some people who are talking right now, we're gonna pull you out. And you will now go and start badmouthing everywhere because they didn't teach you sense. So you have to try. Sorry, this is how I talk. So I think I have just like 2 more slides and then we can now take any other questions so that we don't spend too long.
There's one more, there's just one question waiting for you when you're done.
Okay,
so far.
Sure. Okay. So the next slide is one that as a people, this is us. We fall flat on our faces. We fail and we fail. We don't fail forward, we fail backward. It is a business thing that we do not do. Sam, can you think of what it is? We don't do it. Most businesses don't do it. They don't invest in it at all.
Developing
you and I have. God bless you, but no price for you, Shabon. God bless you. That is I don't even understand how. A friend of mine who runs a school once got attacked by another school owner in Abuja. And the person asked her, why are you always training your teachers? They will still leave. So it goes to something that a lot of people have asked me when I say train, and they're like, what if I train them and they leave? So I'm an HR person. Let me tell you what our HR response to that is. 2 things. 1, as you're not training them now, how are they performing? And 2, what if you don't train them and they deepen their incompetencies, they share those incompetencies and they stay? What are you doing to your business? The thing about it is when we are employing, quite often we employ and so this has happened where I do my nails. I've been using the same guy for 10 years. He's the best nail person in Abuja and I think Lagos, hands-on. But there's something that we have discussed and it is around staff. I've watched him hire someone as an intern or hire someone as a full-time employee, if you have those in that business, while doing someone's nails, while doing my nails, as a matter of fact. And he told his manager, to tell the person this, he can start watching for a number of days. When the manager left, I told him that might not work. Here's why it might not work. When you are employing a person, you have to have, and this goes back to the structure that we spoke about, you have to have a structure that says, this person is being employed to fit this role. This role must be clearly defined. The sweeper who sweeps this office must resume at this time, must close at this time, and we will measure his work by customer complaints, by how clean this office looks. And cleanliness is defined by that there is no dust, that there is no water leaking, that there is a clean towel in the bathroom every 30 minutes. It is that granular. When I say structure, a lot of businesses think that standard operating procedures are for big businesses. Smaller businesses need them even more because that is where you have a lot of risk and you cannot afford to have experts. So you have to define each role very clearly so that when you are employing the person, you are saying, does this person have the competencies, the skills to fit this role? If he doesn't have, why am I taking him? So if it is an urgent situation and I need a person, then that person that I'm employing in an emergency has to have at least 70% of those skills, and I am committed to training for the remaining 30% within the first month of the person landing on that job. If you do not define those things, you will employ somebody because the person is smiling, because the person talked a good game, because the person did a quick Google search on that role and came and bamboozled you, who does not understand what you want from that role. And this has to happen for each employee, for each role that you have. When you now do that and you employ, remember, however, like going back to what we said about culture, your roles are, your standard operating procedures and your positions are defined according to the kind of business that you are aspiring to be. So when you now do all of that and you now say, I'm now hiring, I have hired this person, I am going to train today to have that baseline competence that the person must have. I've heard people say, I employed this person and the person was a manager in this place and they say they have 10 years experience, but they're falling flat on their faces. Let me tell you why they're falling flat on their faces. Because you forgot to factor in that while this person was the king of servants in Ukraine, when he came here, he hit a first hit a culture barrier. You are a Nigerian who can fit in anywhere. Here you are, let me use King of the North again. I am Othman as an example. He gets up every morning and does a headstand because he's a spy. I don't know whether he wants to go and live on the moon with Elon Musk, but he will run every day with his children. The guy touches his children. He will run every day. He will come back and do a headstand. This is the weather that he knows. So imagine that tomorrow, because he trains globally, imagine that tomorrow he is now invited to give a talk in Siberia. Then he now goes and the person who has employed him tells him, who has hired him, now tells him when he gets there that, okay, I've been following you on Instagram, and while I want you to train my staff on this, I also want you to take them for a run tomorrow morning at minus 40 degrees. Are you a devil? That is what we do with the people that we employ. We do not do the training or the onboarding. Onboarding is the first training that explains to them, this is our culture. This is how we do things, so that the person takes their basic competencies and fits them into a culture. So that even during your interview, when you're talking to the person and you realize that that person, for instance, believes that subordinates have to be spoken to in a condescending manner. If you have a team like SOBCA, like Circa Africa, that everybody can speak at the table, that person does not fit into your culture. It doesn't matter if that's the person, the Peter Drucker that wrote the books on organizational development, he cannot fit. And then having employed, you then have to say, on some basic things, we will train every 6 months, every 3 months, every time there is a change in something. You will employ a waiter today. He has been trained. Then you don't retrain him. You forget that as people continue to move, you start to decline if you do not up your game. So you have to train regularly. And then you have to foster a culture of continuous learning and improvement. That goes back to what I said in response to the taxing issue. If you have a culture that is hostile, in your mind, when Sam asks you, so what's your culture? You're like, we're friendly, we're this, we're hip. When you get into a meeting, nobody can talk. It is silently hostile. And what it means is that when you send people for a course, whether it is an internal course or you bring somebody or an open course, they will not learn because they know that when they come back, they cannot use what they have learned. Because when they tell you that, Madam, what if we fold instead of doing a swan, that nice swan they do in those fancy restaurants, what if we fold this like a fish like that? You tell them, no, it doesn't work. They will not continue to learn. So you have to create a culture that people are interested in learning and that they can talk. They see that their opinions matter. And to that, I'm begging, pay for training. Businesses don't believe in training. You want your people to be so good, they can listen. It's not please. So create the culture, people before they come in, ensure that you have to get an HR person to draw up tasks and targets, behaviors, and then you have not having people leave every day or stay which is even worse because they're so them and they're working for you. So one of the, well, this is my last, being competitive. Everything leads to this. If you have the right brand, the logo. You have worked on, one of my friends, I think she's on, I'm to feel like, okay, I'm getting older, use voice should be more formal. So you know that so my at the bottom of the slide, you see my logo. One of the logo items there, excuse me, implies wit, is a fox. And the fox is witty. That wittiness is translated into sarcasm. So I would do reviews before and I would say things like that rice tasted like aliens' feet, or like an army deserter's boots. Do I go and lick aliens' feet? Onto what? I don't roll like that. But that was my visual imagery, and that worked for me. But then I got to the point where I now started to feel like, okay, maybe I should be more proper, and my voice changed. My friend Nanda, I think she's on the call, she reached out to me one day and she said, what's going on? She said, that is not you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you are vulnerable to people. And I was, in all honesty, if I was comfortable with my new voice, I would have continued, but I was struggling. So you have to determine what your brand is. You have to determine what works for you. If you're not somebody who is given to coming and dancing on Instagram, don't do it because the next person is doing it. And don't do it because it does not work for your brand. If I get up today and I go and start dancing on Instagram, someone is going to call me and say, yes, Nkechi's reviews is sarcastic, but not this. For another person, it works as humor. For you, it works as stupidity.
Yeah.
So know what works for your brand. Establish an online presence, whether you are an online, whether you want to play there or not, because you are losing some feedback and some markets because you are just saying that, I don't know, we are old school. Old school be damned. Go and do the things that work in the now. Engage with your customers and find ways to stand out.
Wow.
That is the end of my story. Thank you very much.
Wow. Oh boy, you came with bazooka. Oh boy.
I can't. It is I was terrified.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Powerful. I'm very proud that this session has got this way because, man, whoever missed this session, anyway, they are fortunate to have it on YouTube. They can watch it.
Yeah.
The session has been fantastic. There are two questions I'm going to ask you from the comment section shortly. And
okay,
I will wrap up with my 5 tips and we'll end for the day. I have someone called Yimpa, a participant of the Foodpreneurs session from YouTube. Someone joining on YouTube sent a message. She's joining from California and she says she's enjoying this session. So for you to be joining from California, you really had an early wake up. And I really want to say thank you, Yimpa, for joining this call. So the first question to you, Nkechi, thank you. This is from Gladys Calvin. Says, thank you for this insightful coaching. It seems to answer more to people with physical structure. Any particular insights for those of us who are online vendors and who don't have a walk-in restaurant or hotel? Thank you in anticipation. That's the first question. Do you want to take the second question?
Let me take this before I forget because I wasn't writing it. It's very straightforward, really.
Okay. So
you have a walk-in door actually. For online people, your DM is your walk-in door. Think about everything that we have said around. So if we talk about what are the things we spoke about? If we talk about brand identity, that works both ways. If we talk about, for America, for instance, I know that there are a lot of laws. There are laws around the things you can do with social media. There are laws around the things that even the use of other people's property on social media. So for legislation, just check what works for physical and for online businesses. So Nkechi's Reviews is a hobby of mine, but I know that there are things that, and especially in a place where you have, in your own client, for instance, you constantly have lobbyists lobbying for or against one thing. So check the legislations as they move. And for you in particular, apart from your lobbyists, you also have a lot of groups that just by someone saying something can just cancel culture can just catch up with you. So think of the spoken and unspoken things that affect what you do, especially for those of you in the West. In Nigeria, we don't cancel anybody. As you're trying to cancel somebody, other people are coming out for him. So think of the legal, the formal law and the informal law. And then around, how do I put this? Around building communities, you actually might even find it easier. Abisam, you will find it easier to create communities that will translate into a loyal brand because everybody you're speaking with is on the same plane. So I would advise that you reach out to Stella or Che later about I know soccer had one, community management, the one I wanted to send some of my alumni to. Yes. So reach out to them about you will thrive. You need to build a community, find out how that larger community can then be divided into smaller communities around the different things that you do or offer. Find out how you can divide them and then run with that. So those are the major things I would say. If you have any further questions, I'm sure Sam you can share them later. So that we don't take too long, and we'll take them as well. Yeah.
I'll address some of these things when I share my thought in a few minutes. The second question, before I let you go, is from Aisha Atta. What do you do with a loyal and dedicated member of staff whose, for no fault of theirs, learning has peaked? They've maxed their learning. It's not their fault, but it looks like they're not able to learn new stuff.
So if you have a loyal staff who has peaked, it's one of two things. You might have to redefine their role. If the learning has peaked and you need them, so you don't want to let them go because one, a loyal staff is a good thing to have. They're a catalyst for good behaviors and they can handle clients better than new people. So you might have to change their roles or expand or limit their roles. You expand their roles, and if you expand the role, what it means is that while they have a larger role, because maybe you don't want something that brings down their morale, you then have people that report to them who can then take charge of those items that are above them. So they have experts. You have an expert in this particular item, but she is managing that person. So that person does not now feel like, okay, I know this thing, I know better than my Oga. Most MDs do not know everything. That is why they hire experts. That is why, even though Elon Musk is Elon Musk, he cannot run Twitter alone. The other thing is, if you can move her out of that role into another role that is better suited, you have that conversation with her. And the reason for that is, you, as much as possible, you do not want to get to the point where you are thinking of exiting loyal staff if they are still delivering. So think of one, moving them out of that role. Two, limiting the role, and so splitting that role and limiting theirs to what they do, but also noting that is also, you have to now start thinking of how to manage that so that that person does not get to the point where it is obvious to everybody that they're not improving and you now have an issue on your hands. So there are different ways to address it. When we look into the peculiarity of your situation and your brand, we can then give further feedback. Thank you very much for that question, Aisha.
Thank you, Jem. Please, Jem, share your contact details, how you want to be reached. It's important that our people can reach you and join your community, especially those who are in food business. Where are the landlords? Please type landlord in the room. If you do food business and you're here, type landlord in the room. Only landlords should type first. If you do food business, landlord, show yourself. You need Nkechi directly for your business. Nkechi is a HR expert, a learning and development expert, actually. So if you have training needs, you have coaching need, talent management need, talent in this context means people on the job, you want to be able to utilize their skill set and utilize their qualifications and utilize their experiences on the job. That is where Nkechi's competencies lie too. So she's not just a reviewer, she also manages people's skills, talent, expertise. But if there's anything I know Nkechi for personally, Nkechi will not spare you when you're flat-footed. She's a catalyst. So if you don't have heart for hard feedback, don't go near her. I'm telling you now. Those I didn't want you. Because when Nkechi is done with you, you'll be asking yourself, I bet who sent me to come near this woman? We that have been her friends for 2 decades, we know how we are managing the hard feedback. So, Jem, thank you. Thank you for just being you. Honestly, you're just a darling. I'm sure you're still going to be on the call. Let me run some numbers and then we'll wrap up. I want to close at 9. Let me see the miracle I'm going to do. But let me say this a caveat. In case I shoot beyond 9, I'm not going to take so much of your time. If you're on YouTube, I would like to encourage you to please send your comments or questions or your whatever you want to send it via WhatsApp to +234 807 361 0884 +234 807 361 0884. Let me quickly share my screen as I'm hoping to do quick justice to this conversation. I really don't know what to add, having heard all that Nkechi has said, but I'm happy she reinforced some things I also have on my slides. Nkechi reinforced some things I have on my slides, so I'm just going to simply highlight them in my own context, but I'm simply just going to repeat some things she has said. If you can see my slides, please type 1 in the chat room. If you can see my slides, just type 1 in the chat room. If you can see my slides, just type 1 in the chat room. Fantastic. So I'm going to quickly share some things. However, before I delve into the 5 secrets, let me invite you to some free sessions. At Circa Africa, we're all about committing to communities and helping you improve what you do. So, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, take note of this following announcement. I think you should take screenshots, or if you want these flyers sent to you, you can reach us directly via any channel, and you can actually follow us on our social media handle and get these direct invitations from our handle. So tomorrow, let me look at the time on this flyer. By 5 p.m., we host our usual monthly mental health buffet. It is completely free. 5 p.m. tomorrow on Zoom. On this flyer, you can see the meeting ID. You can see the passcode. I strongly recommend that you save this flyer. Join us tomorrow on Zoom, 5 p.m. Our Director of Mental Health Services is going to be speaking and is going to be hosted by our Chief Operating Officer, Stella. The topic is balancing work and personal functioning while working from home. It is a free session, absolutely free. We host this once every month, and tomorrow is June's edition, absolutely free at 5 p.m. Please take note of the meeting ID. You can take a screenshot of this flyer, or you can follow us on social media. I have posted the link in the chat room. Our handle for our YouTube followers, our handle on Instagram is myCircaAfrica. Circa is spelled C-E-R-C-A. So one word, myCircaAfrica. And if you're on YouTube, you can see this flyer. You can copy out the meeting ID and the passcode. Tomorrow, 5 p.m., don't delay. Set your reminders now. Set your reminders now. The next event I want to invite you to, holding by this same time next week, next Saturday from 7 a.m., we're hosting our inaugural webinar called Solve Your Problems for Real. We have gathered eagles, big names that are going to speak to us absolutely free. If you are a brand that wants to sponsor this event, it is a welcome development. Sponsors will have opportunities to speak to the people that will be attending. I will be promoting sponsors. You can also advertise in the event. Advertisers will have 5 minutes to speak to the audience that will be live in the event next Saturday to 4 p.m., 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. next Saturday, absolutely free. We have on the speaker role, Honorable Justice Mabel, a judge of the Federal High Court. We have Aisha Atta, who is currently on this call with us, a very excellent etiquette and communications expert coming next week. We have Mary Uduk, MNI, former DG of Securities and Exchange Commission. We have Zainab Mustafa Jaji, a BSG member, OSP member, a veteran board member of many organizations. And we have Taufik Babayoju, who is a profound portfolio and project manager based in Texas, United States. This event is free, absolutely free. Just set your calendar and come and join next week. In case you join late on Zoom, it will live stream on YouTube, but you need to set your reminder so that you don't miss it. And you can follow us on IG so that you can see updates on IG. And let me say this, all the speakers on this call, except for Taufik, who is a special guest, all the speakers are OSP members. I'm sure you'll be hearing OSP, OSP, OSP. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. The next event, a paid event, is happening on the 5th of July. For those of you who are, after Nkechi has spoken so much about food and restauranting and staffing and business and structure, one way to keep your new customers coming, new customers especially, is content writing. If you don't write the right content, you may not attract the right people. One brand that I salute their content writing prowess is The Health Place Africa. If you go to Instagram, The Health Place Africa, you cannot not appreciate the depth of their content. Solid content writing. That's just one example. And so I would like you to remember to attend this event. It's a physical event though, not a virtual event. This particular one is physical in Abuja. So you are invited to register and you can see the fees on the flyer. You can take a screenshot or you can have that, you can see that on our Instagram handle so that you can take a slot. We have only 35 seats on offer. As at this morning, 11 people have paid. So we have 24 seats left in case you're interested. You don't want to delay. It's a 3-hour session, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 5th of July. Then I have this event I'm hosting in Jos. I call it the Jos Town Hall Clinic. Circle Africa is hosting a business support community in Jos. It's a free event. So for those of you based in Jos, this is actually the first time we're putting this out. This design came out this morning. So you're actually the first audience to see this flyer ever. And it is on the 22nd of July. So if you are based in Jos, I'm coming to Jos. I would like to see you. It is free of charge. Free of charge. Free of charge. So Jos Plateau, I'm coming. 22nd of July is the date. Pure Q&A. Just compile all the questions you ever have in this life about business. So don't come and be telling me other things. And then we will take care of that. So please copy this flyer. It is going to go live on our social media platforms today. It is not public yet, but we're going to make it public today. Invite someone, tell them Coach Sam is coming. The Octopus is coming to Jos. So now let me go into my 5 tips. If you have enjoyed the sessions today so far, let's assume I'm not even sharing again. If you have enjoyed the session today, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your feedback? On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 means abysmal and 10 means off the hook, what's your rating of today's session so far? CIK, oh my goodness. Anwuli, God bless you. I love that. Wow. Ben, I love that. Wow. No be small thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this means Nkechi did justice. I think we should give her all the credit because she did magic. She came with all the bazookas. And it's such a lovely, lovely day so far. So I'm going to quickly share 5 things. I want you to take note of them as I share them now. Number 1, Nkechi had said something when she started her session. She said, you don't need to have like 100 items on your menu. You don't need to have that. And that I believe too. Number 1 secret. So why did I decide to share this session? Let me backtrack a bit. I went to Lebanon for vacation for just 1 week. And while I was there, somebody in BSG asked me, I'm interested in this Lebanon. No? What is their main business in Lebanon? And I said, I don't know. I just came here to rest. However, I have noticed that it seems that their big thing here is food. Because to be honest, I was enjoying Lebanon food. Their food is just plenty, available, abundant, cheap, not affordable. I mean, cheap. The food is really, really cheap and tasty and nice. I'm like, whoa. You know, it was literally like, what next do I want to try? What next do I want to try? So I figured, you know what? Let me learn some things from the way I've observed these people's food business and share with us. That was what gave birth to this session. Talk about product design and product conceptualization for some of you that are strategists. So these 5 secrets I'm about to share are lessons that I picked just staying in Lebanon for 1 week and their food industry. Number 1, the food they make is intentionally good. You can tell their menus are very short, but the food is on point. So food business, I like how Nkechi said it. You don't need to have 100 items on your menu. Here or here today, primarily everybody knows it's just amala and begiri and abula and ewedu. That's the major thing. The rest is just addition. And the traffic is there. So you don't have to have 100 items on your menu. If you want to focus on 3 different dishes, oh yeah, do it. If you want to focus on 10 dishes, it's okay. If you want to focus on 1 dish, it's okay. But you see that dish you want to focus on, let it be said that any other place you go cannot taste like your own. Dolphin Restaurant, as far as I'm concerned, still makes the best oha, as far as I'm personally concerned, in Nneka. Every time I go to Dolphin, they know, and don't eat any other, just give me my regular. It is just outstanding. That is how it's supposed to be. Whatever food you choose to make sure that when somebody eats it, anywhere else they eat it, they'll be like, no. Now, those people who own, I still want. So that's my number 1 secret. Your food should be intentionally good. How you are going to arrive at the recipe that makes it universally acceptable as good, that is where your research will come in, because Nkechi has talked about research. You want to test different models and styles and arrive at a recipe that is sacrosanct, that everybody knows that, this one, off the hook. That is very key. And like Nkechi said, once you arrive at a recipe, train your people on that recipe until they know it like the back of their hand. Even though there are recipe secrets you still might withhold, where you are the one that comes to put the final stamp on the recipe, so that no matter how good they know how to make it, there's a part that if you come out that part, it no go bang, like when you put out. So I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about, but that's secret number 1. Secret number 2, Nkechi has talked about this too. She talked about her mom running a business, and her dad used to come around and greet customers. And she said, it's even better to run a small business than to run a big business and lose track of who your customer is. I subscribe to that. If you don't have this system that allows for you to know your customers intimately, personally, I would rather you keep a business that you can attend to the customer. Secret number 2 is that you must know your customers personally. You have to. In Seka Africa, because we have grown, there are my customers, there are Stella's customers, there are Tunde's customers, there are Kizito's customers, there are Korede's customers, there are Bukola's customers, but somebody in Seka Africa knows somebody personally. We don't joke with that. We don't. And as the customers begin to repeat their purchases with us, I'm beginning to even identify that there's this person. Who is this person? So I grow more interested as I'm seeing the frequency of the traffic of this customer. The frequency of contact makes me now begin to know more customers, because I'm constantly asking myself, who is this person? When I see a payment or when I see a name in the attendance list, I'm asking, who is this person? I want to meet them. I want to know them. You have to know your customers. So I know that food business is not the type that people will register like a course, like what we do in knowledge management. No, people just come and buy your food and go, especially for walk-in restaurants. But that does not excuse that you should make time to come and know your customers. Very, very important. You should know your customers. Create a system that allows you to interact create rapport, engage your customers. Don't make it look like they are just there for the buying of the food and they just pay you and go. It is not good for you. Develop a system that makes you build a relationship with your customer. That is secret number 2. When I was in Lebanon, they will come and say, hi, you're from Nigeria? Yes, okay, what part of, one person said, I got an offer in Nigeria, in the federal capital. I said, wait, I said, I'm from the federal capital. He said, oh, wow. What, I would like you to advise me, what wage should I have told them I would take? So he was trying to create rapport with me. The cab guy that took me, for example, was saying, I run businesses with some business in Nigeria. Do you know so microfinance bank in Lagos? In fact, in part of my study, I found out that Nigeria has 774 local governments. These guys know what they are doing. They are trying to build a friendship. Don't say nothing concerns you. Those I'm not a people person. People, they stress me, I beg. People this, people that. No, I'm an introvert. One thing I've always told people, I am introverted myself, but many of you will not guess I am introverted. Timbian, welcome to the calling out. Many of you on this call will not believe I, Sam Obafemi, am introverted. But guess what? Introvert, make you stay for a lane, make we do business, make money enter. Introvert, no be introvert, we go chop. Introvert will not pay school fees. Introvert will not pay house rent. Introvert will not fuel your car. Car fuel, yesterday I buy fuel 540 naira per liter. Introvert will not buy that one. So, Biko, be very, very, very careful. Nkechi's here, a serious introvert. Gladys, I'm going to come to your question shortly. Let me quickly wrap up my top 5 feedback. So, the third secret, Nkechi also talked about that. Feedback. Let me tell you something that happened on, I think it was the second to the last day before I left. The guy at the restaurant came. We had taken our, complimentary breakfast, we're eating, and then he came to my table and said, there is this drink I want to bring to you. I want you to taste it and tell me how it tastes. And I was looking at him cautiously, like, hi, God, I don't like talking to people. That's my attitude. I have this internal resistance. I just want to be on my own. Just leave me in my lane. And it's okay. So he went, and then he brought it, and Mrs. O was like tasting. I said, it's really nice. I said, okay, really? So let me taste it. And he comes back later and says, so tell me what you think. I was impressed. Do you know why I was impressed? This was something off the menu. Maybe they were testing a recipe. Maybe they were trying something new. I don't know. But they were particular about asking. When we were checking out of Radisson Blu in Lebanon to move to the resort, they gave us 2 different feedback barcodes. One was on TripAdvisor, the other was in booking.com. They were insisting on feedback. Like, it was like, una no go come out until una give us feedback. They were hungry for feedback. So it is important for you to be hungry for feedback, because how do you even evolve if you don't take feedback? How do you even know the areas that people want more and people want less of what? So feedback is very key. Very, very key. Yes, I did like the drink, Eromina. It was a blend of coffee and chocolate. It had that blend and it was quite nice, tasted nice. I told him it did taste nice and I meant it. So thank you for asking. My number 4 secret. Meanwhile, before I continue, what is number 1 secret? Type it for me in the chat room. Number 1 secret. What did you hear I said was number 1 secret? Just for me to check that you're following. What is number 1 secret? Anyone? Okay. Number 1 secret is not feedback. Number 1 secret is your food must be good. You don't need to have 100 items on your menu. That's number 1 secret. Number one secret is your food must be good. You see why it's good to review these things? Because some of you are already typing of this that I did not say with my mouth. Maybe your mind said I said it with my mouth. So number one secret is your food must be good. You have to intentionally have good food. You have to make sure you don't have to have a large menu. That's number one secret. Number two secret, who can help me? What is number two secret? Know your customers. No, my team, don't type. Madonna, don't type. My team should not type. Let our people type. Number two secret is create a system that allows you build a relationship with your customers. Feintola is very correct. Know your customers personally. There's no excuse for not knowing your customers personally. And while your system may grow large and you in person may not know all, create a system that allows people to know your customers for you. It is very key. Because some of you, I'm sure you just say, how can I know my customers? Only me. It can't work now. I'm not saying you have to know all, but create a system. Create a system such that people in your team know your customers very well and care for them. It is a magical thing to do. They will feel that they are part of your system. What is number three? What is number three? Number three, create feedback. Feintola just they wait for me. Kai. I like that. Feedback. Intentionally be hungry for feedback. Yes, Susan Ugochukwu, I like you. Be hungry for feedback. Be hungry, look for feedback. Don't sit back and wait for feedback. It's not bad, but look for feedback. It's very key. I remember, I'm going to say this, even though Stella may not like it. I remember those days, Stella used to be very sensitive to customer feedback. She used to feel that they were attacking us. They didn't appreciate what we're doing. We're going all the way for them. We're trying, we're discounting, we're giving a lot of, and they're always complaining. I say, Stella, we cannot complain about customer feedback because we need it. It may not sound nice, but we go take on like that. And over the years, everybody on my team has grown. We go collect the feedback and we will work on it. And it has helped. So today we're enjoying a lot of goodwill and a lot of acceptance. And I'm not really so surprised because we are just here for you. Fire the bullets. We go collect them. And we will work on it. So I like when Nkechi gave specific examples. Be sorry for where you missed the point. Try to show that you care about the issue. Provide avenues for you to be resolved. Let the customer know you really want to fix the issue. Don't do it like, if not because of this, if not the economy, say, this kind of person ain't going to talk to me. No, you don't do that. That's the way they pay you. They pay you. Simple. The person may be in your mind, you may think the person is below you, but the person, they pay you for service. So let's make sure that we fix up on that. That's number three secret. Number four secret, use your customer to taste new recipes. I already explained this. I think that if you're in food business, feedback will generate new possible recipes and possible varieties. New feedback would help you generate new varieties and new recipes if you're paying attention to feedback. Then when you start trying out what feedback has helped you to generate, it is important for you to now present it to the customer and say, test this. So you can have days like tasting day, like TGIF, like new recipe day, like new food day, anything. Just introduce a new meal and say, today we're introducing a new meal and anybody that orders this particular meal is free. But we want you to give us feedback what you think about this meal. It can make the meal go far, popular. I had that taste, that touch. I felt it when that guy brought it. It worked. When we were in Radisson Blue, for example, when we're having tea break, breakfast, one guy, there's this guy called Abbas. Abbas says, I want to come to Nigeria. I want to come and work in Nigeria in case you have any opportunity for me. Something. We laughed. He now said, but I want to ask you, do you want me to bring you white coffee? Do you want me to bring you? He's always asking, what do we want him to bring? Because there's always something that they have that people are not buying. They want us to taste it, and so that they can keep asking, how can this be better? So use your customers to test your recipes. Don't just sit down in your bedroom and say, Holy Spirit has come. If I do it like this, do it like this, do it like this, it go bang. Unless you want to be eating the food alone, it will bang in your mouth. Use your customers to test your new recipes. Then number 5, Eromina says, I remember when you mentored my cohorts, you weren't smiling often. Look at you now. Can you imagine? He's well with you. The last one is community management process. This 5th part is very key. Most food business owners don't build communities. I think the natural disposition of food owners is that just come and buy the food and be going. Just be going. But it doesn't work like that. Nkechi said that when she was answering, I think it was Gladys Calvin's question. She was answering that it is important for you to have a set of very loyal eaters. These ones are like your die-hard fans. So it is important to start collecting details of people that are frequent buyers of your food. Begin to cultivate a more intimate relationship with them. Leverage them to bring in more people into your community. Expand the size of your loyal eaters. As you're having loyal eaters, they will carry your brand on their head. It will look like, now us get this food brand. That is how it rolls. That is one secret I also want you to see. When I was in Lebanon, I noticed that every evening, they are 2 hours ahead of us, every evening around 3 p.m., they start assembling musical speakers, microphone, all that, every evening. Because there are some loyal people that came every night just to eat. It wasn't a party. It wasn't any like live band, something. They'll just be playing music. Everybody can come and freestyle. Every day, they had that culture. Every day, people would come out. So there was this loyal set of people that were always coming. And guess what? They were bringing more people. Do you know what that means? It is massive traffic for you. In that same moment, you can test new recipes, you can introduce new varieties. Anything can happen in that moment. So these are 5 tips that I think I wanted to share basically, and I'm grateful that Nkechi had dealt with most of them really. There's a question that I saw posted earlier, so I'm going to read that now. Gladys says, at Neve's Kitchen, I hope I pronounced that right, our customer base has always been customers review and referral. Some we don't know personally, others we know. Please, can you share the importance of knowing your customers beyond just getting a one-off review or relating only when there is business? Okay, beautiful. And I think I've answered that a bit, but let me say this, that when you build a strong customer relationship base, which we call community, it pegs your marketing costs. At some point, when your market traffic is determined by your community, you won't be spending money in marketing again. You won't need to spend on social media. You won't need to spend to hire an influencer. You won't need to be doing any advertising because your customer base is doing the work for you, but they have to be happy. So how do you do that? There are 3 ways to make your customer base happy. 3 ways. Number 1 is educating your customer base. Let them learn from you. If all I'm coming to you is just eating, there are so many places I can eat. But if engaging your brand helps me learn new things, I'm not likely to forget your brand. I'm most likely going to be sharing your contacts and your content. So it can be SMS platform. Once every 2 weeks, you share very short educational stuff like check your blood pressure today, it's important for you. Check your sugar level today, it's good for you. Eat 2 ounces or 2 measures of fresh vegetable. This week, eat so portion of carrot, so portion of oil, so portion of orange, whatever works for you. If you're sending that once every 2 weeks to your people that you have their contacts, It's top of mind presence. There's something he's doing to them like, these guys really care about our food. You can come to our restaurant every Friday. All the food we sell every Friday is 10% off the normal price. Invite someone to take advantage of this too. That is customer engagement. That's step number one, education. Step number two is what we call empowering. Empowerment is like this session we have now. As a food business, you register to join. You can now send a message to all the people in your database, whether it's SMS or WhatsApp or email, and say, there is this free masterclass by somebody called Sam Obafemi. We have registered for it. We thought our customers may want to take advantage of the free opportunity. Somebody that comes to this class through your channel for free gets value. We never forget where it came from. That is empowerment. So when you hear of investment classes, banking, agriculture, recreational, health talk, especially where they are free, share it with your customers. Yes, it's not food business, but I know you'll be saying, why am I sharing what is not my business with other people? No. When you share opportunities with the people in your system, they feel that you care and that they will never forget. And there's what we call law of reciprocity. They will reciprocate by buying or by bringing new people into your system. Always reward people. Always reward people. So that's the second, empower people I meant. The third way to engage and build a strong relationship with your customers is rewarding. Rewarding. And what's rewarding? If I've been patronizing you, what have you given me? How do you even know I've been patronizing? What reward have you given me? What discounts have I enjoyed? What free food have you given me? What have you done for my... And there's what we call customer-consumer relationship, where because I've been patronizing you, I have 2 daughters. You say, coach, I noticed that you went to your daughter's school. Next time you're going to your daughter's school, let me know. I'm going to give you some food for them just on the house because I'm a maybe high traffic buyer in your business. That is reward. When you care about the people I care about, I won't forget. When you show me that I see you and they see your alert and I want to say thank you, I won't forget. So these are very subtle, sensitive, simple things you can actually pay attention to. I think ultimately the goal here is, are you paying attention so that you even know what steps to take? That is very, very key. Gladys says, I've been dying to ask this. Let me share my experience. 3 years ago, we introduced the yearly package of souvenirs to our highest patronage and clients. But I noticed that after giving them the souvenirs, their patronage or referencing drops. Is there anything I'm doing wrong? Well, the thing is, you're not giving them the package as a condition that they must buy more. What matters is that when you define in your system thresholds that attract rewards. Once a person hits that threshold, reward them. Whether the reward motivates them to do more or not, that is completely inconsequential. Don't see it as a condition. So to answer your question directly, I won't say you've done wrong. I don't know the factors that are played out, but I'll just say keep engaging. Keep engaging. Don't lose track. Don't lose steam. Keep engaging, because it's also possible that they may not be buying directly, but they've sent people that will be buying. So their money may have been paid by other people that they've referred to you. So my answer to that, keep engaging, keep engaging. Gladys, keep engaging. Don't be discouraged that you think they didn't buy more. They may have been buying through other people. They may have been sending other people. They may have moved to other things and priorities. I just told you guys, for example, that Dolphin Restaurant makes the best oha soup that I have tasted. But I have not bought from Dolphin in the whole of 2023. So it doesn't mean that, despite that they have a presence in my mind, it doesn't mean that I'm always buying. So just keep engaging. That is very, very key. Eromina says, Coach, do you have small chops for your paid event? 35 cities say, can I supply you 40 packs for free? Wow. Wow. Now I need to meet this human being. Eromina, thank you. My people will reach you. If you can send a private chat of your number so that my people will reach you And then please do send us your flyer, your business flyer. I would love to promote that for you just to show our appreciation. Thank you very much for this. Great. I think this is where we will call it a day. Okay, is another person that is sending number? Is it the same person? So thank you, Romina, for sending your number, because I saw another person send number. So Bukola, I'm going to send you her number privately. Please take note of that and let's fix it. So Dolphin Restaurant, I thought Neka was on this call. I saw her on this call much earlier. Neka, are you still here? Because people are asking about you. I don't do you small PR now. So ladies and gentlemen, let me say this as we sign out. I will just show the slides showing the invitations I shared earlier. But one last thing I need to say is we always try to promote people in our community. We believe that people in our community deserve to be out there. We try our best, especially when you are active in the community. We really don't like ghost members in the community. So if you're in the community and you're constantly showing up and you're active, we are very glad to help you go further. We're very glad to amplify your message. So follow us on our social media handle, Seka Africa. And our handle on IG, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn is MySeka Africa. Follow us on our handles, do follow, share our work, be visible when you want us to help you, especially if you're a member of our community. We'll be very glad to do so because we want everybody to win. If you are not a member of our community, there are two immediate communities you can join. You can be a member of OSP. OSP stands for Octopus Speakers Pool. That is the host for next Saturday's event. I just showed you here. This event holding next Saturday, this particular one on the screen, is hosted by Seka Africa, but all the speakers except Taufik they are all OSP members. OSP is an opportunity, a platform where you learn how to speak. We provide you an opportunity to speak. We refer you to training opportunities. We guide you in your content if you're interested. We basically have several activities that just keep people going, and learning different ways to show up in public. So if you want to be an OSP member, please send us a message and then my team can give you a one-off discount for today, only 24 hours discount, and then you can become a part of that community. The second community you can join is our business community. Our business community is called BSG, and that's where CEOs convene to talk about business-related conversations, and that is one of the platforms that powers the BSG Summit and is one of the strongest communities of Seka Africa. So if you run a business and you want to be a member of our business community, you should be in BSG, because there you can have access to business owners where you can brainstorm, pick their brains, ask for help, ask for support. People like Omelogo, Nkechi are members of this community, and they provide hands-on support for different people at different levels for different things. And there are so many BSG members on this call. If you're a BSG member on this call or an OSP member on this call, please write the community you belong to. Nkechi has started the movement. Just type the community you belong to, and we'll be very glad that people can check you out. So thank you, everyone, for always being. Okay, so Romina says, I'd love to join the. Okay, just follow. So the number I've posted in the chat room, I wrote our number is +234. That's our WhatsApp line, our office WhatsApp line. Please engage them. They will give you a one-time discount today to join any of our communities. Today is an opportunity to cash in. We're going to give a one-time discount. Reach our people through WhatsApp. They will tell you what it takes to join. After today, the discount is off. To join BSG today is $1,000. To join OSP today is $450K. So today we're going to be giving a discount, $1,000 for BSG as at today, and $450K to join OSP as at today. But we're going to be giving a fantastic discount. When you reach us via WhatsApp, we're going to make you have an opportunity to join us before midnight. After that, the discount is off. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure hosting this session. We promised it was going to be 7 to 9, but it's taking longer than that. I hope you forgive us for keeping you an extra 30 minutes, but I want to believe that we delivered value. For those of us who joined on YouTube, I can see as at this moment, a lot of people actually watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for everything. In case you need us to help you or reach you, please send us a message on +234 807 361 0884, and we'll be very glad to engage with you. So I'm going to end live streaming on YouTube at this point, because as is our culture, we love to end with music. So I'm going to stop live streaming at this point so that the